authors, and all the creative voices of today. And we have a great show for you today. So whether you're here live or on replay, make sure to say hi in the comments and let us know where you're watching from. So today I am welcoming CJ Poop Johnson to the show. Poop is an NFL, CFL, American football player from Columbia, South Carolina. CJ's creative talents extend far beyond the football field. He grew up singing in church and is now a music producer, performing hip-hop to all generations under the name of Poop Maine. He's been featured on TMZ, The Late Night Show, and he's in the Sports Illustrated nickname Hall of Fame. His new book, Poopy Stew, will delight parents and toddlers alike. So without further ado, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Thank you for having me.
I am so excited that you're on the show. So we're just going to, the elephant in the room. Your nickname is Poop. So yeah. How did you get that nickname?
Well, it was a name given to me in college. I did an interview. I can't remember the guy's name, but I wish I did because I wanted to say it. But did an interview, and they was asking me about my weight because it did go up and down, and I didn't know how to answer because I didn't have an answer. So the answer I gave them was, I guess I poop so much. And they loved it, and they loved it. So everywhere I went, there was the poop guy signing tissues and everything. And it was just a name that stuck. I didn't like it at first, but
but I like it. I love it. I mean, it makes me laugh. I was telling you before the show, I tend to giggle every time I say your name or your nickname. And that's why you're in the Hall of Fame, right?
Definitely. Best name out there. They got me number 3, but
I love
ain't nobody topping that name.
I love it. So let's talk a little bit about how you grew up. We mentioned that you sang in church.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about just your growing up period.
Yeah, I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina. I grew up in an area called Ridgewood. My dad lived in Winsboro. My mom and dad, from what I remember, they was married at one point, but from what I remember, they was split. And it was basically like the best of both worlds growing up because, my mom and my dad both sung in the choir. My mom mostly lived in we lived in a rough area. And my dad, he lived in the bone slum country. So, it was the best of both worlds. But one thing that always collided was no matter who I was going to church with, we were singing on Sunday because my mom was the choir director. My dad was the choir director. My dad was the one that had us driving to church, singing everybody got a different note. One of those big happy families. Everybody like, okay, you're this note, you're this. Yeah. So, it was fun, though. It was a fun growing.
So is that where the music producing came?
Yeah, that's really where my passion for music came because, like I said, my mom, I grew up with her singing in churches and stuff like that. But my dad, he was the choir director, but he also played on a band. And the band was a part of, the church band, but they also did jazz, events, jazz festivals and things like that and open up for people as things. And so my dad, he really got me into the, all aspects of music instead of just listening to hip hop. I listen to because it's jazz, so you get all aspects. My dad will be playing some type of jazz, but he be like, you can hear the other songs in it. So I just really came touch with music, and it's just been a part of me because that's how I grew up.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Poop Johnson. And if you have a question for him, make sure you put it in the comments and we'll put it up on the screen and we'll ask that question. So what made you decide to do a children's book, number one, as a big honkin' football player? and I get it was, it comes from your name, but the whole Poopy Stew thing. So, here's the book. And we're going to let people know how they can get a copy of it. But
definitely,
where did this come from? And you illustrated it. I mean, you're so talented.
Thank you. Well, the idea came from, first of all, kids, and I couldn't get away from the kids loving the nickname, and then TSN, I believe that's what it is, the Sports Illustrated edition in Canada. They wanted me to read a book on live TV, but to me, I was like a traditional jock. I'm like, I'm a great sports player, but I'm not reading in public. So I was like, if I read a book, it's going to be something that I either choose or I create myself, because I'm not about to be on live TV and reading something, and get shy or something to start messing up. But so they came up with the idea of me creating my own book, which is something funny. And me and Mel came up with the I believe it. No, it wasn't me and Mel. Me and the director came up with Everybody Poops, which was basically a stolen title, because somebody already has that. And
My
but then
son
after
loved it.
that, I put the picture up of me and the kid with the book, and everybody loved it. It went crazy, and it gave me an idea that I should write a book. So that's when me and Mel came together and we talked about it, and she basically steered the way, and we made this happen.
We're talking about Mel Greenberg, and I know she was very much supportive and helpful in getting this book done. And I know that
Definitely.
you're very grateful for that.
Definitely.
So it's a potty training book for toddlers. And what's interesting about this is not only did you write the story, you also did the illustrations. And before we came on, you told me a little bit about why the dog is a particular color, right?
Yes. So the dog is basically, I got a best friend named Red. That's my dog. He's a Doberman. And I was thinking of putting his ears standing up when I first drew the character, but my dog ears, my mom didn't finish cropping them while I was in football. So it's cut, but they're hanging. So that's why I got the long ears and the short tail, and he's red because that's my dog, basically. And yeah, he was just the main character, and I loved it.
So what is your greatest passion about all of this? You mentioned when you sent me over some stuff that sharing your talent and your energy. Why is this so important for you to be there for the kids?
Well, because for me, I got two younger brothers, and I've seen how certain things affect kids, because my father is plays a very important role in my life, but I got two younger brothers that left them, and I know, and I see them watching me and they look up to me. So I've always tried to think of ways to show them that no matter your circumstances, because yeah, my father was there, but we grew up completely different. So I always just let them know, man, no matter where you come from, your circumstances, you can always do something great. And I wanted to leave them a legacy. So that for me, leaving them this book and showing them that, it's more than just being rappers, being this, that, and the third. Even though I make music, you can also do other things to make an impact.
Well, you're definitely making an impact. I always like to ask my guests what their why is. And so I want to ask you, what gets you up in the morning? Why do you do this?
Well, for me, honestly, I wish I had an answer, because I'm one of those people, I just do things. Like for instance, with my community service, I go out and clean up trash on the sidewalks and parks. But for me, I was training at a park working out, and I seen some kids playing basketball, but the park was filthy. So for me, it was just, well, I just had a light bulb. I'm about to just go clean the park. Then it was, all right, I'm gonna go clean the neighborhood. So my why is just, I just love life. I love people. I love being happy, and I believe in just joy. So my why is really just anything to put a smile on my face and other people's faces. I'm all about it.
Well, I think you're doing that with this. Certainly put the smile on my face. If you're just tuning in, we are talking with NFL football star Poop Johnson. Yes, you heard me correct, Poop Johnson. And I know that you don't have a copy of the book over there, but I was thinking, I know that you know some of the words here, so I'm just
you can quiz me or something.
I'm just going to quiz you, CJ. So first of all, we've got. I'm just going to show some of these images, and what do we have? Yeah, we have your red dog over there, sort of.
Yeah, with a diaper on.
Yeah, and you have a Poopy Stew.
Yes, ma'am.
My stomach is
a brew.
A brew, and here's the picture over here. I'm going to go this way, and then you have. We're just going to do a couple. Poopy Stew. My stomach is a brew. Time to make
Poopy Stew.
Poopy Stew.
Poopy Stew.
Poopy Stew. Now, obviously, we're not encouraging kids to go out there and eat poop.
Yeah.
But it's fun. This is fun for toddlers. It makes it kind of fun for parents and their kids because toilet training is not the funnest thing in the whole world.
Definitely.
I can attest to that. And I think this is a lot of fun. And I asked you before, do you have another book in you? And we got into this conversation about your life as a football player and that it was not all roses, right? It's not all roses.
And everybody thinks it is.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for me, I've had the hard road playing football. Everybody thinks when they see you at the top that it's just roses, but it's not. Because for me, it started off rough from high school. I had to take 21 classes my senior year to get scammed to a JUCO, to having to drop out of college, walk on to another JUCO, hopefully, sit the bench, get picked up by Kentucky, and and it's just been like I've just always been battling, trying to make it. But what people don't realize is if you can put your all into it to try to make it, but if you don't make it, it's almost like you got to deal with the people looking at you, as in a lot of people depend on you when they see you about to be something that they never seen before, something they can't believe, and then all of a sudden you're back working, trying to find jobs. So it's like, you got the aspect from the people that's now looking at you as a mess up, and then you're trying to get jobs and they're looking at it as you've never worked before. So it's tough. And people need to understand, like, if you want to play football and you want to be a pro athlete, yes, you have to focus everything on football. But at the same time, if you do that, if you focus and put all your energy and time into football and you don't make it, you're going to feel the effects when you try to be an adult.
I think it's important coming from you to be able to send that message to kids. I mean, you're starting with the toddlers and the poop, right? But as the kids get older, the message is you got to put your all into that. That's your tip, actually, is reach for your goals, but the goal itself is not the action. It's exactly what you're going to go to. So I think it's really important, and I'm going to encourage you, you didn't ask, but I'm going to encourage you that you get that second book out and you'll come on and you'll talk about where that actually took you. When you wrote this book, did you have like a quirk? Did you just sit down and write the whole thing at one time, or did you have this thing, like a rabbit's foot that did you have some kind of, fun thing that you did, or did it just flow?
It's funny because the way I work with anything is almost to me, I hate it because, like, with the book, I feel like I started. It's almost like I got the idea, then it's like, okay, mess around. I don't force things in a better sense. I don't force it. It's like I get the idea. I don't just sit down and start writing right then and there. I'll write a little bit maybe, but then I'll just put it to the side. Maybe I want to start working with my music a little bit and try to do some things and make some connections. But then once it hits me again, and it's like, okay, I like to write when it's fresh. I like to do anything when it's fresh on my mind. Because when it's fresh, that's when you really feeling motivated and you really want to do it. And if you force it, you might not get the best work. So for me, it takes time. But at the same time, when I do finish it, you're going to get the best product because I put nothing but love and positivity in it.
So the music kind of begets the story begets the music. You actually kind of have a balance going there, if I'm understanding.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool. I also asked you if you had a favorite children's book growing up, and you said no.
No. I didn't read much. If it wasn't an animal book, because I love animals, I wasn't in there reading.
And so you have a love for animals, obviously, and I'm sure your dog Red and the book, Poopy Stew has the dog there. Do you have a superpower?
What do you mean? A superpower? Let me think. I feel like my superpower is if I had to answer without you explaining, because I might not know. I feel like my superpower would be the power of Probably procrastination. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
My superpowers, I'm fearless. There is nothing that I won't try, maybe except for jumping out of an airplane.
Okay. Now
But
I'm getting the
I'm
better
fearless,
one.
and
Okay.
I kind of think that I'm sort of like Wonder Woman here. I actually have her sitting over here. But I love what you just said, because procrastination actually is a challenge for all of us.
It is.
And
It is.
you clearly have figured out a way to push through that.
Definitely. And like when I say procrastination, it's more so like I say with the book. It's like, yeah, I can sit there and get it done, but I'll procrastinate a little bit. But that while I'm procrastinating on the book, that is, I'm coming up with something else great. So it's not like I'm just procrastinating and wasting time, but it's like I'm procrastinating. I can't even say, I'll get tongue tied because I didn't finish it when I could have, but I put it off and did something else. But
Right. And that's how you talk about goals. I mean, that's actually what you say about goals, is that you have to just get those steps in there and work towards that goal. And it sounds like that's exactly what you have been doing. If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Poop Johnson about his life, and specifically about his new book. And I'm putting it up into the stream here. The link to go purchase the book is in the comments already. It's called Poopy Stew. Yes, it's really called Poopy Stew, and it is illustrated and written by Poop Johnson, which makes complete sense because, his nickname is Poop. I know people are going to want to follow you. And so what I'd like to do right now is give them some ideas of how they can go follow you. Now, one of the ways they can follow you is go over to Instagram. You're very active on Instagram. You're a verified profile over there. And we were talking about your name. It's Guology, at Guology. And
Guology.
Guology.
I know. I hate it. And that's the main reason why I hate it, because I can't tell nobody. They don't really know how to spell it unless they're looking at it. So it's like, yeah.
Well, but you know what? I remember it because it's so unusual. But you also can be found over on Facebook at poop.johnson67. And you were telling me the 67 goes back to your number, football way back, right? Kentucky, you said?
Way back. Yeah, no, all the way back to my junior college.
Oh.
Yeah, all the way back. There's a story behind that too. I got a story behind everything, I feel like. But yeah, that's my number though.
That's why you're a writer. And I just want to let people know that when you go over to your Facebook profile, they're going to hear your music, and they're going to hear rap, and they're going to hear a bunch of stuff that probably you don't want to bring your kids over there, your younger ones.
Yeah. The music, the books is for the kids. The music, it's censored. I definitely put that it's potty mouth. And yeah, so if I was you, I wouldn't recommend you listening to it with your kids, but the book, you and your kids will love that as a family.
Absolutely. And I
encourage
encourage
you. Gonna love it too, though. But
I told you, I really like it. I really like it. It's a matter of how do you integrate both of those things. And I think there's something for everyone, something for the parents and something for the kids. I told you earlier that we are on the Roku channel. So I want to encourage people to go over to Roku and go ahead and, it's free. So make sure that you get that. We're also on Amazon Fire TV. So lots of different ways you can watch the shows. Let's get that.
Tune in.
I know. Tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. Any last minute thoughts you'd like to share with our viewers about what you're doing? I want them to stay tuned because you do have another book coming out. I'm just telling you. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know that I just want to thank everybody for tuning in for sure. And a little bit about me, a little more about me though, is I really want everybody to enjoy this book, just like I want everybody to enjoy everything I do. I'm a person that I love touching people in any type of way. So when you and your family read this book, just know that I wrote this just to bring joy to your family, because I wrote it and put it out during one of the roughest times to put out a book, because I felt like families needed something to come together. And so from my family to your family, I just want y'all to enjoy this book and enjoy each other.
And we have similar reasons for doing what we do. When the pandemic hit, I started doing a show called Once Upon a Story Time, and it was children's authors reading their best-selling books, which is why Mel came to me and said, you got to have CJ on. You have Poop Johnson because he wrote this really great book. But once I heard your story and everything, I said, it's not just a children's show. I want all of the adult listeners and viewers to also get to know you.
It's more than just the book, you know. It's really a story of overcoming everything. Because, like I said before, the Poop nickname started off as a joke of people laughing at me because I was sitting on the bench when I got the nickname Poop. And as a football player or the athlete in general, the nickname Poop is not something that you want attached to your name. But, you know, whenever y'all look at me and see how I'm smiling every day and I can wear shirts and things like that with Poop, it's because I overcame that. You know, I didn't let the world put a stigma on me and break me down. I used that name and used that attachment and built off of it, you know. So I used the negativity and made something positive, and that's what people should strive to do because everybody's going through something, and you can either go through it and suffer, or you can go through it and figure out how to come out on top and become better. Man.
And Casey said, hey, so I think he's watching the show right now. So hey, right back to you, Casey.
Hey, what's going on?
we're talking to Poop Johnson right now. So I want to thank all of you because you have a choice as to how you spend your time. Whether you're here on replay or live, it really doesn't matter. You're making a decision to spend some time with us. And I want to thank everyone because we really are grateful for that. Wait. Okay, so Poop Talk. There we go. Hashtag Poop Talk. Is that one of your, I want to know if that's one of your hashtags.
Let's get it trending.
So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Make sure you come back next week for another show on Caren Glasser Live. Again, Poop, thank you for joining us. Everyone go out and give somebody an awesome day, and we'll see you next time on the next show.